Up to this point, we've largely worked with embedded CSS. That's where we have the style element in our head section and we code all of our CSS rules there. External CSS is used to put your CSS rules in an entirely separate document. And then using a link statement, you link those CSS rules to your HTML. This is really useful when you have larger websites, websites consisting of multiple pages, and you want consistency on those pages. You don't want them to be formatted very differently. So having that external CSS gives you that ability to create all the rules for the overall website. And then when you want things more specific to that page, you can use the embedded CSS. To get started with this, let's create a new document in Visual Studio Code. And let's save it as practice.html. So practice.html, and go ahead and save it in your Chapter 3 folder in your shared Google Drive. You probably know that by now. And I'm not sure if I showed you this in a previous video, but we're past the point now where we have to type that whole template in. So if you do exclamation point on the keyboard and press tab, it inserts the basic template in Visual Studio Code. And this is new to us, this viewport. We'll get to that in a later chapter. It's fine to just leave it for now, okay? Eventually, you'll always want to have that on your pages. Let's give it a title of External CSS. And then in the body section, let's just add a simple paragraph that says this web page uses an external style sheet. Okay, so if we were using embedded CSS, we would go up here and add style tags, but we're not doing that for this one. We are going to use external, which means we need another document, okay? So create a new file. We can leave that one open. That way we have two at the same time. And on this page, your external CSS needs to be saved as a .css file extension. Okay, the file extensions are important because it tells whatever software we're using what type of file it is. So let's do a file save as, and this one let's call styles.css. Okay, now it is important right now that you save those in the same folder. Where you have your files saved is super important when it comes to websites because it needs to know where to find those files. We'll dig deeper into that topic later on, but if you're getting an error, sometimes that's probably the most common, is you don't have your HTML and your CSS in the same folder. Okay, so let's just add a simple CSS rule here. Let's take our body of our document and let's change our background color, and you can just pick something. I'm going to use purple. And then let's change our text color to white. And maybe we do font weight bold, just to give it a little extra. Okay. And you could add hundreds and hundreds of CSS rules here. But how do we get it to show up on this practice page? So if we view this in a browser right now, it looks like this, okay? How do we make it look? How do we have that CSS on there? Okay, so in the head section, we do a link statement. The link statement is going to link your CSS to this document so that it can apply those CSS rules. The link statement needs to have two things, and it doesn't matter what order you put those in. Okay, I like to do the href first, but the book always does the href second. Okay, so I like to do href and then equal to quotation marks, the name of the CSS file. So styles.css. Make sure you watch your spelling and capitalization there. It does matter. Then we have a rel, which is relationship. So what's the relationship to this? It is a style sheet. Okay, so again, we could have put this statement first after the word link, But I just like having it that way. Now you can have multiple external CSS files linked in one document. That's completely common for that to happen. Let's see what it looks like in our browser now. So do an Alt-B, and yes, we have a purple background with white text. Okay, so that's external CSS. Let's practice a little more with a larger website and some more CSS rules.